Welcome to The Artist Matters. I'm Alex Rudy, and each week you will meet incredible artists from all walks of life. Filmmakers, writers, actors, painters, musicians, and so many more, sharing their stories to motivate and inspire the creative in you. Whether you're doing it for fun or looking to make a living, this show will help you on your journey to bring out the artist within and letting the world know that your art matters. Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to The Artist Matters. I'm Alex Rudy, and happy Memorial Day. It's that time of year. Can't believe it's already here, but that won't stop me from bringing you another show. And this one's a doozy. I got referred to this actor, comedian, by guest number one. That's right. Lori Ann Davis, my acting teacher, is also the acting teacher to today's guest, the one and only Chris Roach. He was raised on Long Island, as we say. I can say that because I'm from Long Island. Still living in Lake RONKOKOMO, and keeping busy. He has done stand-up in various venues, of course, Governors on the island, but also Caroline's in New York City, the Borgata in Atlantic City, and he just recently wrapped up touring as an opening act for the one and only Kevin James. Speaking of which, you may have seen him on the Kevin James sitcom Kevin Can Wait in the recurring role of Mott, and has also been in other TV shows and movies, even got to work with Pacino. And he also has a great video, an ode to Lake RONKOKOMO, done to the tune of the Beach Boys song Kokomo, called RONKOKOMO. You got to check it out. It's such a fun tribute to Long Island. And speaking of which, he also has not one but two podcasts. The first one is called Long Island Explained, co-hosted with Steve Belanger, chatting about all things Long Island, from the foods to Pilgrim State and Plum Island. You got to check it out. The other one is called Comedians on Hockey, which, if you haven't guessed, it's him and other comedians talking about hockey. I'm so grateful that he took the time to share his story and chat with me on The Artist Matters. And I'm sure you'll enjoy it. He has a good sense of humor, and let's get right into it. Without further ado, enjoy my chat with Chris Roach. All right, we are here with Chris Roach. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Here he is, our first stand-up.
Oh, okay.
And a hyphenate. This guy does more than stand-up, but you'll hear his journey. So let's begin at the beginning. Where were you born?
I was born in Wyckoff Hospital. I believe that's Queens. Or Brooklyn. I think it's Queens. Queens, New York.
Queens, New York. Now, how long were you in Queens?
Only for about 5 years. Then my father, who was a police officer in New York City, moved us out to RONKOKOMO in '74. And I've pretty much been in the conch ever since.
Ever since. What was it like growing up in the conch?
Well, it was pretty cool. You know, I mean, the early days, there wasn't a lot of people out here there was a lot of woods in the 70s. So it was slim pickings, especially when you're a young boy trying to hook up with girls. It was slim pickings.
Did you always have this creative side to you, even at an early age?
I think I did. Maybe I just showed it in different ways, but I think it was always there. I showed it in different ways, whether it be drawing or, I don't know, getting in trouble or something, you know.
What did you draw?
I don't remember. I just always remember I liked drawing and writing stories when I was in elementary school. But then I it soon turned to I enjoyed making people laugh. So I would make my classmates laugh all the time. That became my favorite thing.
So how did that come about? Was there one moment like, oh, wow, I made these people laugh? I didn't know I have it in me? Or did you always have kind of a sense of humor?
I guess it was something that I kind of realized over time, that I had this sense of humor, and people, the sound of making someone laugh is really incredible. It's a really, when I get off stage, it's like a natural high. It's hard to explain. And I started doing stand-up 16 years ago, really just to get over a public speaking fear. I had this really debilitating fear of public speaking, and it was something that I kind of forgot about from my high school days. I forgot about it until I was like maybe 12 years later, and I was in a situation where I had to speak publicly, and that's when I was just alerted to it. Like, oh yeah, I forgot. I'm not good at this. And I took a couple of classes at Toastmasters, which is a really great organization.
What are they?
It's an international organization. It's a public speaking group, and you could find them in any local library anywhere across the country. Just Google Toastmasters, I think .org, and it's a really great thing for people looking to become better public speakers. And that helped me get on stage a little bit, and I mean that helped me, I guess, get it going, get this thing going. Where, I was at some where was I? This company sent me to this management training institute, and I had to give presentations. And I realized that adding humor kind of made it easier for me, and it was less stressful and more enjoyable if I added jokes to it. Mm-hmm. And so I think it went from Toastmasters to Dale Carnegie to open mics, and I never looked back. Once I did my first open mic at McGuire's Comedy Club in Bohemia, I never looked back. It was just it was an incredible moment. The first show I ever did was a graduation show at this comedy class. And I did this graduation show, and I made everybody laugh, all my friends and family. And then I would say about 4 days later, I went back on stage, but to performing to people that didn't know me. And that was tough because I'm doing the same material, but to no laughs.
Ouch.
Yeah, and it was at that moment I said that I wanted to be able to make strangers laugh the way I made my family and friends laugh. It took a while, but it's really an addictive thing.
All right. So at some point in time, you were a cop?
Very, very brief. Very brief for like maybe 2 years, and it was not for me. I have my two brothers and my sister and my dad. They really seemed to enjoy it and made careers of it, and I just didn't like it at all. I don't like, it takes a certain type of person that to do a job like that, and I'm just too nice, I guess, too laid back, and so I ended up quitting that. That didn't last.
Was that on the island?
That was in the city.
Oh, you go to the city. Oh, yeah.
NYPD.
Oh boy.
NYPD.
After you stopped being a cop, did the stand-up comedy come after, or was it a while?
I think I was a police officer from age 28 to age 30, and then I started my first stand-up comedy set. I think I was 34. Mm-hmm. So I was around 34 34 years old when I first started doing comedy. Wow, that was 16 years ago. Oh my God.
How the time flies.
Yeah.
So I guess family was very supportive of your decision to become stand-up?
Yeah, they really enjoyed it. And, I was doing it part-time for like 5 years. And then I decided to, really make a run for it and try it full time. And, it was a little slow start, but now it's like, it's got, it's like almost the business is like, seems to be like feast or famine. It seems like all these bookers are calling you and you're already booked, or 3 bookers call you for the same date. And you go a few weeks where like nobody's calling you. And so you try to, I try to be, I was never like this, but now I try being a little more proactive, where I'll actually reach out to some bookers rather than waiting for them to call me. I was never like that, but you got to eat.
Got to put food on the table.
That's right.
For sure. So you're doing it part-time, and what made you decide, you know what, I think I should take the plunge and just do this? Was it a scary decision? I mean, like,
not so much a scary decision. I think it was, I started making a little bit of a living at it, and then I started getting into acting a few years into the stand-up comedy and started booking some things. So I really wanted to be available not only for auditions, but for comedy shows as well. So I'd say between the comedy and the acting, it's I'm surviving, I guess you would say. Some months are better than others.
You're doing the stand-up. When did you get into the acting part of it?
That was about like 4 years into doing stand-up comedy. I started taking acting classes just to be a better performer, a better stand-up comedian, not knowing that I would end up really loving the acting. So when I finally met Kevin James and he put me on his show, I feel like it was everything I worked for as a comedian and an actor coming to a point. And it just all came together at that right moment. It was really, really incredible.
And you took your first acting class with?
Lori Ann Davis. That was, you know what? To rewind a little bit, I think I must have taken classes with Lori even before my first open mic, my first time on stage, because the first time I performed my stand-up comedy was at one of her acting show, one of her class shows where we did our monologues in front of friends and family. We did monologues, we did scenes, and I did 10 minutes of stand-up right there. And I was holding like a microphone that wasn't even plugged in. It was a prop microphone.
Had to get comfortable with it somehow, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the acting helped you prepare for the stand-up, maybe? The class?
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. The class absolutely helped, because it helped me just, step outside my comfort zone a bit.
And for those of you who don't remember, Lori was our first guest ever on the podcast. Yes.
She's great.
Yes.
She's great.
Yes, she is. So what was your first acting role?
My first acting role. Well, I remember the first thing I booked was a television commercial, a regional television commercial here on Long Island. I was a Optimum Cable Pixel.
A pixel?
I was the green pixel in a commercial with all different color pixels, and it was a campaign that ran for like about a year, but it ran a lot. And some people started recognizing me from the commercial, and then my first acting, as far as film and TV, my first acting gig was on One Life to Live, which Lori was on.